Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Well, we're at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, one of the great places in northern Michigan, and really one of the places that's home to the Cherry Festival. The National Cherry Festival starts on the 4th of July, continues for a week, and some of us kind of continue it after that. And one of the people we just found is Mr. Traverse City. Mickey Fivenson has been involved in the Cherry Festival race and the parade and probably a few thousand other things, haven't you?
Oh, I have, yes. Yeah, I've been involved with the parade. At one time I was director of the Cherry Festival race, and I really enjoyed it. We did some really neat things and really had a lot of fun.
What were some of the things that you did that were innovations?
Okay, Jenny, George Kuhn was the director of the race just before I took over, and he really was a legendary guy in the area. He is a legendary guy in the area. When we took over the race, one of the things that I instituted was a cheap price. I mean, I wanted to see a cheap race. And at the time, the big races were charging all of $15 or $20. We were charging $5. And I remember very clearly, one of the best runners in the state wouldn't pay that $5. So as a result, he sat out the race and he watched the race from a bridge, but he wouldn't pay his $5. Now, one of the things that we did that was kind of unique, I don't know, maybe it's done elsewhere, but we gave a prize for the fanciest and most fun aid station. And I went around to various nonprofit groups and I encouraged them to take an aid station. And we had dancing girls at one. We had, well, the one that I remember the most is kids from a children's home, disabled kids from a children's home dressed up in clown face, running an aid station. I mean, it almost brought tears to your eyes. But what we did was randomly I asked runners what they thought the best aid station was, and that's how we awarded a plaque. Other things we did that were kind of unusual were that we gave random prizes out to the finishers. We traditionally did not give any prizes to the first 150 finishers because they got age group medals usually, or winning medals. But the big prizes were running shoes and flying anywhere airline tickets and things like that. We saved those and we handed them out randomly to middle and end of the pack finishers. And I remember one year I gave a really nice prize, I think it was a pair of shoes, randomly, everybody thought, to the last finisher. So those are some of the things we used to do that were a little bit unique and created a lot of interest among other runners.
Did it originally start with a 5K and a 15K, or what were the beginnings like?
Well, originally, Jenny, we had a 10K race, and that was the Cherry Festival race. For the first perhaps 10 years, it was a 10K race. And then shortly before I took it over, we changed into a 15K, and it continued in a 15K for many years thereafter.
Is that when it went over McKinley Hill, which is also known as Mount McKinley?
Oh, we don't want to run up and down Mount McKinley again. Oh, please! But yes, that's where the race goes. Yes.
Well, that's one of the more storied hills in any race in Michigan. And it's fun for the people who do it the first time because they don't realize how big that hill is.
Oh, that's a big hill. Yeah. That's a big hill, but it makes the race fun, and people enjoy it very much.
One of the things I look forward to at the end of that race, or the 5K for that matter, is the cherries at the end. Was that one of your innovations?
No, that wasn't one of my innovations, but this year we got plenty of cherries at the end. Oh, we enjoyed those cherries, yum yum. And they had cookies and all sorts of good things at the end.
In the meantime, the race has expanded in terms of distances. There's a half and a 10K. What are some of the things that bring people to come back and do these races every year?
Well, I think that the reason people come back is because of the big crowds. First of all, it's a beautiful race, but it finishes, the last mile of the race is in front of the crowd waiting for the Grand Royale Parade. And so that crowd can build up pretty big. And again, the beauty of the race, we're running along the water, but also it's the crowd. Oh, that crowd really, really sends you. I brought the first sponsor the Cherry Festival ever had into the Cherry Festival race. A guy who worked for Amoco was a close friend of a fraternity brother of mine. He didn't know Traverse City, he didn't know the Cherry Festival, but he took on the Golden Mile. And so it was called the Amoco Golden Mile for the first few years, and he paid all of $2,000, which is a real bargain compared to what the sponsor of the Golden Mile pays today.
That reminds me of at least one time I was following you in the 15K race. We reached the start of the parade, which is, not too long after. You pull a shirt out of your pocket. You change costumes right then and there because you suddenly put on a Cherry Ambassador shirt and you're affiliated with the parade. So the parade itself is fun to stay for, too.
Oh, it's lots of fun, and there's usually 200,000 or 300,000 people downtown. Traverse City itself is only a town of 15,000. But there's 200,000 to 300,000 people watching the start of that Grand Royale Parade, and it's a lot of fun for runners. I know that one of the things we used to do, the Golden Mile ran down that parade route and ran just before the start of the Grand Royale Parade. And one of the features of that race that made it exciting for runners is the fact that even though these were Big Ten champions and champions from all over the country, they finished the race in front of thousands and thousands of people, and they were right up next to those people and never so close. It was really exciting for them.
It sure was, because you don't see that many people at a track meet.
That's correct. Yeah. That's right.
Right. And road races are hard, Rob, but we did see Paul McMullen run a sub-4 mile in one of those one year.
Oh, one year we had 4 people break 4 minutes a mile, but now it's a little bit tougher because the course has 4 turns, 4 sharp turns. We only had 1 sharp turn, and again, it was in front of the parade crowd, all the way in front of the parade crowd. But that's something that we miss.
Is it fair to say that the Cherry Royal Parade is the biggest parade in Michigan?
I don't know. I really don't know, but it's a big parade. I mean, it's a grand parade. I think it lasts 2.5 to 3 hours. It is a big, big parade.
Well, there's always a theme, and there's always elementary schools, each of which has their own float,
Yep.
and each one has a prince and a princess, and
Yep.
so there's a lot of really fun stuff to see. And you see, who's the guy with with the briefcases?
Oh, the briefcase band, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't remember, I think they're from Scottville or someplace, but these are guys that are dressed up in full suits and coats and ties and carrying briefcases, and they do all sorts of military precision exercises. It's a lot of fun.
Speaking of a lot of fun, I'm looking at the shirt you're wearing today. It's red, and it says Traverse City Film Festival. And now, what are you doing with that? That's another thing that brings people here.
I'm a manager for the film festival, and I work one of the venues, and that too is a lot of fun. We meet a lot of people from all over the country, all over the world, and we go to great parties and see free movies, and it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun to work, right?
Yeah, a lot of fun to work.
Well, it's a lot of fun to see what movies are picked, and we've been here for a few of them, but this year's theme really caught my eye. It was something to the effect of a movie can change your life.
Absolutely, a movie can change your life. And this year, we're celebrating I believe it's the 100th or 150th birthday of Charlie Chaplin. What would that be? Probably 100 years. Anyway, Geraldine Chaplin, his daughter, is going to be here for the film festival, and we're looking forward to that. Should be exciting.
Well, that's a really interesting combination. Michael Moore and Geraldine Chaplin.
Michael Moore gets around a lot. I don't know, the guy doesn't seem to sleep during the film festival, but he's around a lot. Everybody gets to see him.
Well, he's the guy who started it. He's originally from Flint, but I think he lives here now.
Yes, that's right. He has a home here in Traverse City, and he loves it.
Well, of all the famous people in Traverse City, Mickey Fivenson is one, Michael Moore is another, and everybody you meet here is friendly and fun, and you can't have anything but fun if you come to Traverse City. Right, Mickey?
That's correct. You can have a lot of fun here.